Robert Mueller says that he is bound by long-standing Justice Department policy, saying that a president cannot be indicted while in office. For more, I want to bring in attorney Leeza Garber. Leeza, thanks for joining us.
Great to see
you. All right,
you.
so your initial assessment, you heard what everyone else heard. What do you make of it?
If we take it from the top, which is that Bob Mueller is a very serious man. He speaks with gravitas. He's a lawyer. He's a Vietnam War vet. He's a smart man. And yet today, he really just muddied the waters. I think that's the initial impression I got, and many attorneys got as well.
Well, yeah, but some are saying he muddied the waters in an attempt to sort of pass the baton, if you will, or encourage Congress to take up the cause, which was not part of his purview. He repeated more than once that it was not constitutional, or at least his interpretation of the Constitution, for them to go after the president on this.
Definitely, Charles. And there are conflicting observations about what legal precedent says. He could have gone either way, but basically, in essence, his conclusion was that he couldn't draw a conclusion, even though past legal precedent and other issues that presidents have dealt with shows that somebody could have said if they conclude they're guilty, they conclude they're guilty. Mueller didn't do that in this case, and he said many, many times today at 11 a.m. that he wasn't going to speak outside of the four corners of that document, his report. He said just take the written word, and that's what it is. But the most important statement we have to realize as Americans is one of the most important provisions we live by is that you are innocent until proven guilty. There is no reason Trump has to be exonerated.
Let me ask you this, because when Mueller said that charging the president with a crime was therefore not an option, but he went on to say that him and his team still, they were allowed to do this investigation because possibly others could have been charged. I found that to be interesting, and I've heard the media talk about this. No one has been charged with obstruction, right?
Exactly. No one has been charged. And again, it's important to repeat these statistics.
So it's one thing to say, hey, you know what, we couldn't charge the president of the United States, but we've spoken to hundreds of people, we delved into this, and we couldn't find everyone else eligible to charge with obstruction.
Exactly, Charles. And how else could they define it, right? You say 2 years, $35 million, over hundreds of interviews. If they could have found something, they would have found it. And again, he's saying we didn't find it.
Nancy Pelosi put out her statement, which, by the way, calmed the stock market. And part of it says that Special Counsel Mueller made clear that he did not exonerate the president. He also said she also said no one is above the law, even the president. But this really stops far short of saying impeachment is next. And I think, again, that's what's sort of calmed the market. So your interpretation of Mueller, in my mind, it seems pretty clear. Everyone knows, feels like maybe Mueller certainly opened the door or made it wider for Congress to go down. Nancy Pelosi not taking the bait just yet.
She's not just yet, but I think she might not have a choice moving forward, because basically what Mueller did is he left it dangling. He didn't tie anything up with a bow. It's very open-ended, and he's basically inviting Congress in and saying, hey, I couldn't do anything, even though that's not necessarily the case, and many would argue that it's not, but Congress needs to take the next step.
It's a political action, however, right? If they were to go down this impeachment path, and it would be mostly a political issue, knowing that ultimately you couldn't get the Senate, certainly, I don't think, enough of the Senate to find President Trump guilty of anything. But so the calculus and the gambit is very, very high right now.
It's true, and your analysis is spot on. This is just creating open war season on Trump with no reason, but now it's really in Congress's hands, and Mueller's just really passed that baton, and he keeps doing it over and over, and that's what he did in this short written statement. It's the reason he didn't take any questions, he didn't interact with reporters,
right.
And that opens up to a lot of criticism.
Just moments as you were speaking, Jerry Nadler saying that it's the Mueller statements make it clear that President Trump is lying. What do you take of that? I mean, we know Jerry Nadler has been one of the main members of the Democratic Party pushing for impeachment, but saying that President Trump is lying. If indeed is lying, obstruction is lying, does it rise to the level of a crime, even if indeed that was factual? Because we know this is one person's opinion.
Well, it actually doesn't matter if it rises to the level of a crime, and it doesn't matter what any of those legal standards are related to obstruction. It really just matters what the political motivations are, and that's what the impeachment process is.
Leeza, thank you very much.
You.
Really, really appreciate it.